This one is going to be deep because this is probably, I sometimes say this once a year, but this is probably the most important thing I'll say this year. And I was thinking a lot for 3 days how I explain it. So I'm going to explain it using three different methods. But this is the secret to investing. This is why I talk about faster horses. And this question is from Juami Flores. In all your videos, you talk about the fastest horse. It seems like crypto is a faster horse than Tesla. So why keep buying Tesla now? Brilliant question. Brilliant question. We're going to go back in time, cover up a little bit of history. And I love reading about history because there's so much to learn and there's so many anecdotes. There'll be a couple of good anecdotes today. So first of all, I created another little mind map because it's easier for me to walk through this because it covers a lot of stuff. So let's go to the middle part. Buy when there's blood in the streets. Where did that come from? Well, that's attributed to Baron Rothschild, an 18th century British nobleman and member of the Rothschild banking family that became the richest family on the planet. And they supposedly, I don't have the receipts and I wasn't around back then, but they made a fortune buying during the panic that followed the Battle of Waterloo. Again, I wasn't there firsthand, but this is in the history books. And the phrase is a metaphorical expression of the world of investing and finance, meaning you buy assets when their prices are severely depressed due to extreme fear, panic, FUD, pessimism, etc. among investors. You can't make this stuff up. Literally, when fear is at a maximum, when FUD is at a maximum, when the so-called OGs capitulate and sell, that's the time where you run in the door. I've been using this all my life. It is flawless. Flawless. Okay? Flawless. We had a little bit of max FUD. We had max FUD on Tesla late 2020 when Elon had to sell shares to buy Twitter. And we have it again this year because the FUD is at a maximum, but we're also at a tipping point. Anyway, let's go back to this. So I'll walk you around this because this is so important. I will spend a couple of minutes. It won't be 60 seconds. It'll go longer than that. But again, then you have these assets that are excessively pushed down by this fear and panic selling. We saw that from Meet Kevin and Gary Black. Panic selling at the bottom because they are not able to overcome their emotions. They are not able to assess the long-term value of assets and therefore, and they're not able to wait for markets to recover. And this adage encapsulates several key concepts in the investing world, okay? So first of all, is psychological resilience. Investing when there's blood in the streets requires control over human emotions, fear and panic. The best way to control emotions when investing is don't care about money. As soon as you get obsessed with money, you will not do well. When you don't care, it's much easier. It becomes like sport, as I call it. Okay, so you need to have your mind overcome all of that fear. And this helps make you a great investor. And I've preached this now since I've been doing this videos for 3 years. And where investors, the best investors, look for securities whose prices are unjustifiably low based on their intrinsic worth. I wrote a paper earlier this week on the fact that the energy storage business alone for Tesla is worth more than the current market cap of Tesla. And that's just one of their 11 businesses. That's how out of whack things are. But let's go more, because this is all about investing, not about Tesla. But Tesla is a good example right now. Market recovery. This is the belief that markets will recover over time. So buying during downturns relies on the confidence that prices will eventually rebound, allowing investors to reap massive rewards from their contrarian positions. I always say, blaze your own trail. Do not follow others. If you follow the sheep, it's not going to turn out good. And I always say as well, run into burning buildings. That's exactly what this point here is as well. Now, risk management. Well, buying during a time of crisis implies a level of risk management. Not all situations of market distress lead to recoveries. Sometimes when the fundamentals aren't there, you do not want to touch things that are cheap. But distinguishing between temporary declines and fundamental downturns is crucial. All right, so a lot of it here, say print off that little page. That's so important. All those little lessons. Now, What also happens, and by the way, we saw so much of this in the past 18 months. We saw Solana at $8, and I have the receipts to prove I bought a truck load of that. People talk about doing it. I did it. Okay, where everybody else was selling or panicking or afraid or hiding under their table, no, I was rubbing my hands together because I knew, and my bear target was $100. So you buy something at 8, goes to 100. That's a huge return. It ended up doing nearly a 23, 24x from the bottom. And that is massive gains. We'll talk more about where it's going to go for the rest of the market. The other big lesson too, which is crazy, and I do this, but again, from a very wise man, Warren Buffett, diversification preserves wealth, but concentration builds wealth. I said it 100 times. You don't build wealth owning 60 pieces of something. You need to go hard into few assets. And that leads me to the most important image. And I struggled with this for 3 days. How do I impart exactly what I mean by rotation? Okay, so here is an example. Imagine 5 elevators, 5 elevator shafts. It should be pretty easy to get. I'm going to blow this up. So for example, you buy Meta at 93, you buy Nvidia at 160, big synthetic long positions, you make a bunch of money, and then you think they top out at 340. Meta's now higher. So I sold a bit early, but I did rotate into other assets. Okay, Nvidia, I sold 80% at around 550 and sold some calls against it and stuff like that. But I still have a little position. But rotating into other assets that are faster horses. And this is the whole faster horse concept. So Solana $8, MicroStrategy 190, CleanSpark at 250, Tesla at $161 last Friday. Now, if you look at the relative position of the elevator shafts, okay, see the little blue boxes up those shafts? When you get to the top floor, imagine it's a 30-story building and you're at floor 25, 28, you're going to 30. That's when you start rotating out and you find elevator shafts that are down at the ground floor. Tesla is now at the ground floor. Things like Solana, MicroStrategy, CleanSpark, they are now getting up there. They're up at the 20th floor, 15th floor. They're kind of halfway up, 3/4 way up, 20% up. It depends on how far they're going to go. But that's the way I think. And once things get lofty, we rotate out. That's why we have the Lilo model to take profits with a very, very disciplined approach to make sure that you can rotate into the things that haven't actually bounced yet, like Tesla. So Tesla is at the ground floor and it's orange. And that's why we rotate. Because go from 8 to 185, Solana, 23x, 24x. Is it going to do another 24x? The answer is no.